Speaking of bargains, we'll move over to the NFL section of this. J.K. Dobbins coming into town on a bargain price for himself, a one-year deal. I do believe he's going to get, it's like $3 or $5 million. Can't remember which one of the odd numbers. But our running back room is starting to look pretty decent here in the Mile High area. Teaming him up with Harvey, who are kind of our dash and smash approach a little bit here. And then Estime, has the fumblies sometimes, but he is our big bowling ball. Unfortunately, this does probably mean Jalil's out of a job until somebody goes down.
Which, give it time. The training camp, there's always some injuries around the league, and guys are needed to fill in. But rough go, but we kind of knew that there were going to be some positions with pretty high turnover rates.
The other, just looking through contracts throughout the year, Atlanta has a problem because they tried out the Kirk Cousins experiment last year. Did not go super well. And for some reason, they also drafted Michael Penix in the first round.
Everyone was pretty confused about that move when it happened last year. And now it's kind of like they kind of skated through the season with it being okay-ish for most of it.
Well, kind of, because eventually Penix...
The first half they were okay, and then it kind of, fell apart second half.
Yeah, Penix did end up starting there not too long, much later in the season. For the last probably 4 or 5 games, he was playing a big role in their team. But now Penix slotted in as their starter. Kirk Cousins is due $40 million this year to be just basically a backup.
That's a very expensive backup.
Yeah, but there's also this thing of I've been hearing reports that maybe you keep him there because what if Penix doesn't work out for whatever reason and Kirk is just waiting to buy his time in, and Kirk is being a professional through all of this for the most part.
Sure.
Because I think he's sort of suspecting the same thing. Depending on where you are, the quarterback position can be a very fickle position to be in.
I mean, he knows as well as anybody that you're one play away from having your backup taking your spot.
Very much so. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. I mean, there's really no spot for him now because Pittsburgh got their quarterback with Mr. Aaron Rodgers signing the deal last week that we talked about. So I don't know what you do with Kirk now. Kind of stuck with him, and I do believe he has a 2-year, I think, player option after this as well that I would assume he opts out of because he probably
wants to play still. Yeah. Wouldn't want to write. I mean, nice contract to be riding the bench on, but I'm sure, you'd rather be out there playing. Who's the backup behind Mr. Rodgers now in Pittsburgh?
It is Rudolph.
Okay.
Mason Rudolph, who left.
Although I don't think Pittsburgh's the type to take on a Kirk Cousins for backup.
No, that's an expensive contract, and they're kind of a little bit. I think they're handicapped because they're paying the defense a fairly significant amount of money for some reason, and they also just re-signed DK to a huge contract, so they have to penny pinch a little bit.
Who else needs a quarter? Who's Vegas running out at quarterback these days?
They have the amazing pro quarterback Geno Smith out there as their starter.
That's right. It's Seattle take 2 in Vegas time now.
Yes. It is almost a full Seattle
transplant
team.
Of the,
Yeah, Pete Carroll went and grabbed his guys from Seattle who was like, I don't want to be here, and the coach don't like me no more.
Yeah.
So,
interesting.
Team up there. The craziest one while we're on this one is the issue out in Cincinnati. Let me tell you about Cincinnati, since you probably have not heard of this, and I've just stumbled upon this.
Okay.
Cincinnati decided that their young rookie, who they drafted, it was 7th or 17th, I can't remember which. I think it was 7th overall. It might be 17th, actually. Shamar Stewart, they decided that they are going to try and implement some new contract options in his contract to be the first sort of experiment guinea pig. And he said, nah, dog, and then he left their mini camp. What this means is if he does not participate and he can opt to sit out this season, he can be redrafted again next year.
But not this year.
Nope, he'll have to sit out this full year.
Because Cincinnati would have his rights for this year?
Correct.
Okay.
But he does have the option that if he says, I'm not going to do this and I hate it here, I'm just going to sit out for a year.
And go back to the draft.
And then go back to the draft.
Interesting. I mean, that's a pretty bad business decision from Cincinnati, because that's... Boy, what a way to waste a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, Cincinnati's is one of the oldest teams in the league, but also seems to be the most frugal, I think, by and far, by large, by every report card and player base. I think they've said Cincinnati's sort of the they try to do the Walmart version of things, even though we are the Walmart owners here. They try to
our Walmart owners do not spare any expense. We've gotten the field resodded several times since they've taken over.
Several times owner. There's been some buying of some new property out somewhere in the Denver area for who knows what, potential new stadium or whatever they decide to do. So yeah, that's that fun little wrinkles within the NFL. We'll see how that all works out for Cincinnati. If they're smart, they take out the fun new clauses they decided to add in and experiment with this year that I think the NFLPA and players themselves say that's...
I was going to say, I'm sure the Players Association would love to take a look at those new little wrinkles as well and be like, hey, we have bargaining agreements for a reason, dogs.
Yes and no. I think they only have so much control. The how the contracts are shaped or whatever are very much up to the owners, and that's sort of the reason why a lot of athletes choose not to go the NFL route, because their contracts suck mostly so bad compared to any other sport in the world.
There is a lot of they very little, what am I trying to say, comparative strength behind the player side.
Yeah, the only contract I think in the world that you're not fully guaranteed. Everything is highly incentive based, like not bonuses. Like it's tied into the contract you're supposed to be getting.
Yeah, I think that's true because
NBA's full guarantee and MLB is the highest fully guaranteed.
NHL, I can't think of anyone who's like that. That's not a thing that people worry about it being guaranteed. So yeah, tough break.
A little bit.